All right, my friends. So I just got back from a cruise to the Bahamas, and I was pleasantly surprised that I actually lost weight on this cruise where everybody seems to gain weight. So I wanted to share that with you all because I did not know what's going to happen with me. So as I was leaving for the cruise, my husband said, "You know what? We need to weigh you because you're definitely going to gain weight when you come back." And I'd never been on a cruise before. So I said, okay, let's weigh myself. And I was at 116 pounds, I think, at that time. I didn't care much. I was okay with my weight. And off we went. So now I went with my friend. And when you two women at this age get together, we have, and there's access to free food all day long and nothing to do. You're on the boat and there's lots of entertainment going on. Guess what happened? So then between me and my friend, this is what was going on. And I don't think I was really I was definitely not trying to lose weight. I was just being me. And so this is her plate. There was access to a lot of desserts. And the first day, I think I did take two or three desserts. And then I was like, I don't know if I can stomach that much. But she's being French, she would, get all her desserts. And then she would even get a cheese platter for herself and things like that. So I started actually feeling a little queasy in my stomach on the second day because of so much sugar going on and things like that. So you know what, I wanted to share some pictures. This is what my plate was looking like from the second day onwards. And I said, okay, I'm just going to eat like a ton of fruits, and then a ton of vegetables, and then I'm going to start thinking what else to eat. So this is what I started off with. This was, I think, day one, and the breaded fish, and but still, as you can see, I said, okay, I'm going to end with pineapples because pineapples will actually help with digestion. So you can see my plate had a lot of vegetables, and then there was taster portions of other things, but I really did not know there was food all the time. Now you can see a difference between our plates. Look at my friend's plate. She has all kinds of fruity yogurt, some compotes, a croissant, and pizza. And I managed to put some leaves on that, which she used to give to me. But my plate always had fruits and vegetables. So that is where, and then we had a session with the fitness center. What happened was, this was on third day. Um, so they weighed us, and I'd lost 5 pounds, and she had gained 5 pounds. She did not know what's going on. She said, "You're eating with me, and how are you losing, and how am I gaining?" And I started looking into it. So what was going on was the difference was in our habits. So I would wake up. It's just a habit for me to wake up by 7 o'clock, 6:30, something like that. But it's her habit to keep sleeping. But when she's home, then it doesn't affect because she's not overweight or anything. She's working in the house, and she's a home renovator, so she's constantly moving her body. But there was nothing for her to do, so she did not get up in the morning. She stayed in bed while I got up and I went outside, or I went to the fitness center. There was even like an outdoor gym. So again, some more food, and this is my portion, whereas her portions used to be double this size. So obviously you can see, we are having fun in the evening. There was entertainment, and we were staying up late, which is also not something that I do at home. But I was dancing a lot over there. I was climbing up 12 flights of steps at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. I was going to the fitness center. I was sitting in the spa. I was doing all the hot tub and the sauna, which was, sweating it out. And when I was on the beach, then I would go swimming, whereas my friend, she just sat over there. So the difference was that, and then when I would, you can see the ship was really big, and there was a lot of stuff upstairs that you could do. As it got warmer, I started going outside. So, but my friend was just stayed inside. And this is the outdoor gym. I started, working out at the outdoor gym. I don't know if I can
So
show.
this is another level of the deck. As you can see, we have some exercise machines, and so getting close to the island.
You can see
There,
I'm
there's the
panting a
island.
little bit because I just finished my run.
There's another little boat somewhere over there. You could see the boat. Oh, I can't see the boat. Ooh. Oh, there's the boat. There. And that's the island we're trying to get to. This cruise ship owns that island apparently. So yeah, this is a jogging track. You can jog along here and do some exercises here. There. The whole island goes from there to there to there.
Yeah, so we
Cool,
went
right?
on the island as well, and we had food over there. So it's very easy to get sucked into all the fun and frolic and enjoyment if you're not mindful. And that's basically, so I was working out on these as long as we could go because the cruise was from New York to Miami and then Bahamas. So it was cold, and for most of the time it was really cold. So I was just using the sauna, and I was just going around, just meeting people. Yeah, that was the other thing I did. So I was taking a lot of pictures and really still thinking about how I would come back home and communicate. Whereas my friend was just, she started to get bored after day 5. Like, what is there to do? But so my motivation, energy, all of those were really high. And I was going out even at night time to see what else I could do over there. So things were, yeah. And I was meeting people all day and just connecting with them and not getting into a boredom, because usually what happens when we get bored or things are very convenient, then we gravitate to food and we think, okay, I'll just eat. And that's an emotional eating pattern. So I was connecting while being entertained, and there's a lot of entertainment going on the cruise and even in the developed world. So it's so easy. The common complaint we hear is that people actually say that, oh, I overeat when I am socializing or I'm with in an environment where there's a lot of entertainment. So the reason is that when we're getting bored, we are mindlessly just eating. But I was staying very aware, and I showed you this performer over here. This guy is, his name is Harry, young 22-year-old boy from UK. I really liked his energy, so I went and connected with his parents, and incidentally his parents were also on the cruise. So I involved myself with a lot of other things rather than just sit there, get bored, eat, and sleep. So I found out about a little bit about his journey and how his parents support. I found out about what he eats, and that was really helpful, because when you're talking to other people, then you are connecting, and then you're able to make better decisions. I think that's the end of my slides. So I'd shown all these slides, and yeah. So this was, anyways, for people who've just joined, I just wanted to reiterate that the reason I made this call today was to show that we can even lose weight on a cruise, or we don't have to get into emotional eating, even when we are presented with a full buffet, because we stay true to ourselves and we stay committed to our goals, and we do not let ourselves go into a lack of self-awareness. So I've recorded this, and if any of you have questions, we can talk about it. Uh, but if not, I wanted to say that the reason of emotional eating, which is the biggest problem that people face, especially for weight, is that they lose awareness. And when you're living in an environment of prosperity and abundance and a lot of food everywhere around, you got to be very aware. You cannot lose track of awareness. And where is our awareness? You cannot touch and feel it, right? So awareness is beyond our body. It's our soul, it's our energy. And the concept of energy, which means that we always have to um, generate energy in ourselves. So how do you generate energy? So anyone over here on the call, do you have any thoughts on how do you generate energy every day? Rizwan, Nazneen, are you here listening? Okay, so for generating energy, really, you have to connect with who you are. So we are three-dimensional beings. We are not just our brain, our mind, and our body. We are also an intelligence, and we have intuition. So where do we get all that intuition and intelligence from? For that, you have to go a little beyond the physical realm that we are in and understand what science has also shown us, which was known to people, from generations, that science has shown us that we have a pineal gland in the center of our brain, and that pineal gland is really just the size of a rice grain. But that pineal gland actually shines. It is always shining, and pineal gland is what is controlling all of the mechanisms going on in our body. Um, then we also have the gut microbiome. So when you come into the physical realm, we are 90% bacteria, right? We are only 10% human cells. So 90% bacterial cells, they are the ones sending neurotransmitters. So again, going back to the concept of energy, if you have ever seen a patient in a hospital, especially for, getting an ECG, what do you see? You don't see the heart just moving. You actually see electric currents. So, which means that we are electric current. Now, if I was an iPhone or a phone for that matter, I would have the battery energy going through me. And once the battery runs out, then I would have to connect myself to some source of energy. But incidentally, I'm not a phone. So, but I still have to generate that energy inside me, which shows up as electric currents that you can see on ECG. And those electric currents, where is the source of those electric currents? Can anyone tell me, have you ever thought what makes those electric currents keep going and then what stops it? Like we say, oh yeah, the heart stopped, but does the heart start on its own and stop on its own? Any answers for that? Okay, so again, going back to science, so then you have the pineal gland that is glowing and da da da. But again, the pineal gland is still in the physical realm. So they have been searching, and if you look up Dr. Zach Bush, MD, I think his website is zachbushmd.com. He explains it really well because he's in that kind of research realm. And they actually, when they do an electromagnetic something testing on humans, they see that we actually have radiation outside our body, and there is a big glow of light on top. It's always there, but we lose awareness of that light. And that is where our energy starts to go down. And once we lose awareness of that glow, then we also lose awareness of actions we need to take. So the situation here is that you have a problem with weight. You want to lose weight. And you are just thinking, how am I going to go from this weight situation or diabetes situation to losing it and living a normal life without having to take medications only to manage it, because medications also have side effects. So there are two parts of it. One, you have to understand why you have picked on weight. If you were not born obese, what happened along the way that you started to gain weight? And so you need to understand why we gain weight and why do you want to lose weight? What is the problem you're facing by having that weight? So bring that awareness to yourself to why have you gained the weight and why do you want to lose it? You need to answer those questions. So do you want to answer that question right now? Any one of you? Okay, you got to raise your hand or say something so we can have an interactive session. And then the next part is how to do it. And we always try to make shortcuts and you want to just know the steps. And if you go on the internet, you can find thousands and thousands of videos telling you how to lose weight. But if that could have helped, then no one would be overweight right now, because most of those videos are giving fairly good advice. Those people who are giving the advice have lost weight. I could also go and on the internet and give advice on how I lost weight. Uh, but I think it's a waste of time to go on the internet and try to look for advice or try to give advice, because again, we come back to our motivation and energy. And for that, we need to connect with somebody. We need to get it out of us on why you need to lose weight and why did you gain weight in the first sense. If you have not answered these two questions, and on a daily basis, you are not aware of your energy and what are you doing, what habits, what are your patterns on a day-to-day basis. So say some people have this pattern or a habit that you set an alarm in the morning and the alarm goes off and you turn it off, and then the alarm comes again and you turn it off again. So what is that doing to that person on a daily basis? This person is getting late to work or late for whatever, not getting what they, if the person setting an alarm at 6:30 a.m. and has to leave by 8:30 a.m., they are thinking that if they wake up at 6:30, they're going to go and exercise and eat something and have enough time to leave. But by turning off the alarm and then getting out of bed at 8 a.m., now you're in a rush. So become aware of the patterns that you're in. So if you're in a pattern that you go into a social situation, so say if I was in that pattern of not being mindful of what I ate on a daily basis, then on the cruise, I would not have lost the 5 pounds. I wasn't really trying to lose. So I was just doing what I do, which is waking up at the same time that I wake up. And now I even had the luxury. So I was looking at the luxury of time that I had rather than 80, 90% of the people on the boat were overweight. It was really sad to see that. So I looked at those people and I said, I don't want to be that. Whereas some people look at those overweight people and say, oh, well, everyone around me is overweight. It wouldn't show. And that's what my friend was doing. She was saying, I'm not going to gain as much weight as them. So it doesn't matter what I ate. And then it was not making her feel good either. But she kept eating because she didn't come with a goal. She's not aware. She didn't put her thoughts into it, and she really went back feeling very, very sick and very overweight from the trip, whereas I came back rejuvenated because I said, oh wow, now I have this time that I don't have to do the cooking and the cleaning and whatever the work, so I'm just going to use this time to go and exercise on a daily basis, take the steps, pick up weights. I went into the weight room every day. I did yoga every day. So by 10:30 a.m., I had spent 2 hours taking care of myself and had eaten a big bowl of fruits. So by that time, the breakfast was already closing. So again, I missed going through that whole breakfast aisle. Again, another habit I realized now looking back was that even though everything was available on the buffet and in 3 or 4 different stations, you could just eat as many pizzas as you want. You can eat as many burgers as you wanted, as many desserts as you wanted. Um, for some reason, because my plate was now full of either fruits or I would start off with salads and roasted vegetables. So then there was no room on my plate, and I would say, okay, let me finish this and I'll come over to get the other stuff, which was also a lot, a lot of rice dishes, a lot of meat dishes. It was amazing food. But by the time I finished eating my vegetables, I was so full. So now I was like, okay, I just want to taste. And I would go take like a teaspoon of the rice and a little bit of the meat just to get a taste, or a piece of fish. And then I'd just get like one dessert and I would be happy and content with that. I even had hot chocolate, which is not something that I drink normally. So in my coffee, I added hot chocolate. So, plus, I kept a very positive mindset. So, having all of those things, though I missed out on sleep, but I think working out and not eating so much of the junk food helped, and just filling myself up with fiber. So, and hydration. Yes, the third part is hydration. My friend also did not take care of her hydration, whereas I walked around with my flask and I kept filling it up, and not juices, but water and tea. And sometimes I would go to the bar and get lemon, and they would look at me funny. But I said, can you just put lemon and hot water in my flask? And I became a regular at the bars. They would see me, and they would pick up the lemon for me. So I guess building habits comes from being aware that we have this glow on top that is meant to energize us and light up the pineal gland, which then lights us up and charges us up. And as long as you keep on you keep your energy levels high, you are going to actually become more intelligent and make better decisions, which are intelligent decisions. We don't want to make dumb decisions. And for that, we also need to get out of a scarcity mindset. So that's the last piece that I wanted to talk about. For emotional eating, the reason is that we get into a scarcity mindset, and it could be anything. So, say for people on the cruise, the scarcity mindset is that, well, I'm getting it now. I won't get it when I get back home. So let me eat as much as I can right now. And I saw people eating so much, and some of them were sitting there even at 11:30 p.m. and 12 a.m., and they were filling up containers, which showed that there is some kind of uh, thinking in their mind that it'll run out of food. There were people who were thinking that, oh my God, there would be no food left because there's so many people on the boat. Whereas that situation never came. So um, the scarcity mindset brings us in a fearful state of mind. And when we are in fear, what happens? We try to make shortcuts. We become in a survival mode, and the survival mode actually takes us to making wrong decisions and shortcuts, and it becomes a path of least resistance where you don't want to take up any challenges. So if you are thinking that, why am I putting off my workouts or other habits that you know will help you lose weight to another day, then you are choosing the path of least resistance, which means that your energy levels are running low. And why are your energy levels running low is because you've lost your awareness to yourself, and you are thinking you are just this body. But you're not just this body, you are in this body, in this life. Your body is a vessel taking you through life. It's not who you are. You are beyond your body. You are intelligence. You have a lot of power. And so the best way to get out of emotional eating is to become aware of who you really are, and that there is no path of least resistance, and that shortcuts always make you fall on your face. So get aware of the glow you have, bring back your energy, make intelligent decisions, get creative, and achieve what you want to achieve. So, any questions at this point? Okay, I will bring up another concept. It's called the star, which I think most of you, if you're working, you've achieved that. You've gone through that. So it's situation, task, action, and uh, I think R is the results. Yes. So let's come back to your situation. You want to lose weight, or you want to get rid of your diabetes. Okay, so that's the situation. The situation is that the environment over here, or in most prosperous places where there's money, there's a lot of convenience, and convenience is a trap. We all know that. In fact, there's a book called The Convenience Trap. So that is the situation. There's too much of things that are qualified as food around us. There's a lot, it's almost like we are living on a cruise ship. So I went on a cruise ship for 10 days, but I realized that some people are just living on a cruise ship every day. It's totally possible because you can go to the grocery store and you can buy as much as you want, and most of it is not food, in the cans and bottles and packages. It's looking very pretty and tempting, and it's very convenient. Take this out of a bag and heat it up and eat it. Or you go to a restaurant. Of course, the food in restaurant is really high in saturated fats. None of the restaurants will ever give you food that is going to help you lose weight. So, but it's a convenience trap. We go to restaurants because we want convenience. So, once you become aware that that is the situation, that is a really tough, challenging situation, even though we thought we are living in a developed world, and you know what, everything is going to be great. But that is the challenge of the developed world, is that there's too much of everything. And there's too much of things that are being qualified as food. And then we have too much of dependence on the government and agencies to tell us what to do. So now you get a good handle and awareness on this situation. So what is your task? Your task is to actually not get sucked into this. Your task is to be aware at every single minute. Your task is to be aware that you actually have to develop good habits and patterns that will take you to eating mindfully, exercising, sleeping on time, and also thinking positively. So another way to uh, be recharged is to think positively. And that is the other piece that I saw a difference between me and my friend, that she would keep slipping into complaining mode and of thinking what's not good here. It almost felt like her cup was getting empty every hour. And it goes back to, childhood traumas, or currently maybe in the last 10, 15 years, you've been living in a traumatic situation. So we again go back into that mode of survival thinking. So we need to get out of survival thinking, because if you think about it, the caveman was actually in a survival mode, but the caveman was healthier than us, had more strength than us, primarily because when the caveman was getting, chased by a saber-toothed tiger or whatever, that was the time the caveman was stressed and was in a survival mode and was putting out all the adrenaline. And the caveman had only two choices. It was either going to outrun the tiger, or it was going to get eaten up by the tiger. So if it got eaten up by the tiger, it's gone. story's over. But if it survived, then the caveman actually celebrated that survival. He was not thinking about, oh my God, what am I going to do next time the tiger chases me? Because he was just in a habit of knowing that there could be a tiger that would chase him. And then the rest of the time that he was not being chased, he was in a recovery mode, enjoying with his family, eating berries and eating really healthy stuff and building up his body. But we are now constantly thinking of what is wrong. We want to live in a perfect world. So even a little dot on a beautiful white dress becomes the focus of our attention rather than the beautiful white dress, right? So we want everything perfect, and we feel ashamed if there is something not going right. But why are we not thinking about our weight as the thing to be perfected? Because overweight actually affects our brain and it takes away our intelligence. So somewhere we are thinking it's okay to have this excess weight. So it's okay to have the excess weight if you're only thinking about looking good, because you will never be motivated to lose weight only to look good. Because, as we grow older, we're intuitively to not bother so much about looking good. However, if you shift that focus from looks and likes from people to actually thinking that, slimming down is going to make my brain also very sharp, and I'm going to become intelligent and I'm going to make intelligent decisions. This excess weight is making me tired, and it is making me and my brain also very tired. So we don't want, as we age, we don't want to be physically dependent on the hospitals or doctors or on our children or family. Then the first thing to do is to make sure we are aware of what we're eating, when we're sleeping, what we are thinking about, how much we are moving our body. And we got to push through a little bit every day, do a little bit more than yesterday in terms of your exercises. You got to make sure that you're building muscle, because when you build muscle, then that also takes care of a lot of fat. So with that, I think if there are no questions, then there's so much only I can offer. But feel free. Okay, yeah, Rizwan, you want to say something? Go for it.
Yes, good evening.
Good
Here I'm in India and it's
Nice.
night here, so
Okay.
so that's why I'm saying good evening.
Mm-hmm.
So my just now you said that there is a direct linkage between overweight and intellect.
Mm-hmm.
Probably this intellect goes down. Now I am gaining weight for the past 1 month. I'm just seeing that, observing that my weight is going up,
Mm-hmm.
and my memory, I'm having issues with that. Are
Mm-hmm.
they related?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%. You know what? It's the reason is that why you're gaining weight is probably you're not getting enough fiber in your diet, which means you're probably eating more fatty food. So fatty food does not have fiber. Now, the reason for fiber, two things. One, because of fiber, you remove excess toxins in the body, and you clean up your liver. And the other part of eating more fibrous foods, which is fruits and vegetables and fibrous grains, is that it feeds your gut bacteria, and your memory and your energy and all your neurotransmitters. 70% of the hormones that or the neurotransmitters that uh, make your brain function are actually manufactured by gut bacteria in your gut, not in the brain, because the bacteria are in the gut. So if you don't have enough gut bacteria because you're not eating enough fiber or you're not releasing enough toxins, then obviously you're not producing enough neurotransmitters. So all of those chemicals that help you with your memory or with your cognition, your intelligence, they depend on how many neurotransmitters go from the gut to the brain. So I don't know what you're eating, but you need to look at your plate, and maybe you're sleeping late. I don't know. If you're sleeping late, again, you're creating a very acidic environment. When you're creating an acidic environment and your blood is more acidic, then also your gut bacteria start to die. And as your gut bacteria die, then how will you produce neurotransmitters? So, does any of that seem like something that may be going wrong in your current situation?
Yes. In fact, sleeping late and gaining weight, getting carried away with all those delicacies.
There you go. So now I don't know how much you listen to my thing, but I've recorded it and you can get it. Getting carried away. Tell me a little bit of what happens. So if you go to a get together and there's lots of food, what do you do?
Uh, okay, I try to restrain myself, but still I get carried away, and um, I try not to have these saturated fat-based food, but
Mhm.
still I taste that, and it goes on.
Right. And so, you know what? This is the environment that is the difficult situation in our times. Even like I would say, so I'm from India too, and I grew up in India. Um, when I was growing up, there were only specific times for foods, and very rarely were there situations where we were invited to like big weddings. I mean, there was a wedding season, and that you're eating, but I know everybody was mindful. I know my parents used to say, "Oh my God, there was a wedding yesterday and today, and then another one tomorrow." I don't know what to do. And in my house, at least, my parents would just not eat anything in the day because they knew they were going to a wedding. Or sometimes they would just go to the wedding and not eat anything or just pick up some little thing just for the sake of it because they said, oh my God, no, I've eaten a lot. And everyone was just mindful. But now it's nonstop partying. There is so much food. Like we didn't have so many restaurants and roadside food. It was a once in a while situation. So we didn't have to worry about it. That exhibition that used to come in Aligarh, I don't know where you are, but I grew up in Aligarh. And there was this exhibition, and the exhibition used to be full of fatty food and everything. So we would plan a day. And that day, we didn't eat anything all day because we were going to the exhibition. And we went and we ate very controlled portions. We just ate just to enjoy it. And then right after, we would come and drink like a lot of hot water to down it, and then a lot of salads and a lot of onions. And that was the end of it. Then, month or 2 months, 3 months went by, there's nothing. But now that you've attended my session, when you're aware that this is a difficult situation, then knowing that we are intelligent beings and we have this nice glow up there, can you now start to become aware of how all this food is actually affecting you and your intelligence and make better
Yes,
decisions?
definitely. Yes, it was a very knowledgeable session. And just to make a point here, I was your neighbor in Aligarh, and yours was Bengali Koti number 2, and mine was 1. And
Rizwan,
we grew up together.
you
Uh,
were my sister's age, or were
yeah,
you in my class? I don't know. We
yeah,
were all
your
different
sister's
age
age.
groups. Yeah,
Your
yeah, yeah.
sister's age. She was 1 year junior to me.
Yeah.
And coming back to the topic again,
Hmm.
so like what's happening these days is that we have food at our doorsteps. If we open WhatsApp or even the television, we have foodies here, and all
Yeah.
kinds of food. We didn't have it in Aligarh. We
No.
were restrained, or probably we didn't have
Hmm.
all those stuff. But if you switch on any channel on the TV or the mobile, anything, so you'll have the delicacies being prepared, and all kinds of food being merged. In Delhi we get every all kinds of food,
Yeah.
from all parts of India. So we get carried away, and then we have the Swiggy and Zomato, who are bringing the
No, no, you
those
should
kind of food to
totally
your
ditch
doorstep.
that. I mean, the question to ask is, do we really need that much food in our body to function? Like,
Absolutely,
are we such high maintenance people?
we are not.
No, right? We are lean people. We are meant to be lean. So all of those foods are not even food. Most of the foods that are being sold today are not foods because the things that they are cooked in are very highly ultra processed oils, or in fact, I mean, it's a completely different topic, but it's so related. If you think about it, 20, 30 years from now, the population was much lesser than it is now. But look at the market. There is way more vegetables and meats sold today than they were back then. So where are all these vegetables coming from when there are less and less farms now than they were in the past? And I started exploring that 2 years ago. I went to Goa and I found out that Goa, the most fertile land in India, grows only 5% of its vegetables. Why? Because people are not farming. No one wants to be a farmer. Everybody is a taxi driver or sitting in an office or whatever, because that we've made the farmer such an insignificant, useless, no respect kind of a profession. So where does all this food come from? Well, guess what? In the south, there is the place called Belgaum in Karnataka, where you have all these factory farms where vegetables are being produced in bulk using all the chemicals, all the hormones you can imagine, and with now GMOs. So there is no nutrition in most of the vegetables you're getting in the market. Most of the grains you're getting in the market are highly fertilized with chemicals, lots of pesticides in it. Then there are GMO varieties that have taken away the nutrition but increase the sugar content and taken away the fiber. So we are really being shortchanged. So when you go to the market, how are they able to make all this food so affordable now? Because they're getting this at throwaway prices. How is it possible that all of these vegetable vendors, their vegetables just don't go bad? Look at the amount of vegetables they have. So my suggestion is to start questioning everything. Just start questioning everything. Start looking at your body and say, what do I really need to function for the next 20 years of my life? Is that what you need? No. Can you survive on food that you cook at home? 100%. When should you indulge? Once in a while. What should you indulge in? Does it really matter if you are presented with a buffet that you have to eat everything on the buffet? No. And that was one of the clients. I mean, it goes into everything. It's a scarcity mindset. We start thinking, if we are not eating that much, if we don't have access to that much food, then we are poor, then we are lacking. Oh, okay. I mean, the hoarding, it just goes into everything. If you start, food is just showing you, it's a symptom. If you're overeating, it's a symptom of underlying lack of, a mentality of lack. And if you start scratching it, you will see that this mentality or the scarcity mentality or the fear mentality is showing up in different parts of your life as well. It might be showing up in someone's relationships or in your job or in your finances, not just fat. So people who are overweight are also facing problems in their relationships and finances and jobs and other things, not just weight. Overweight is just the symptom of very deep underlying problems of emotion. So I guess we can end it there, and send me an email. I'll put my email here. It is very simple: sarah.m.health.coach@gmail.com. You can send me an email if you have any questions. I do run other programs. Nazneen is my client in the other program. Or you can look up my website. It's called sourceparenthealth.com. And let me know if you have any questions.
That's it. I think I already asked.
Okay, perfect. Well, I hope this was useful for you
Yes.
all. And
Yes, it was quite useful. Yes.
so
Yes, I stayed for a little bit and I heard some
yeah.
really nice things. So yeah, we'll try. And thanks for your time. Sorry I couldn't
Well,
attend the whole of it.
tell me, what is it, that one change that you will make now that you had been not making, or you knew you had to make, or now you know that you should make?
Uh, in if, in terms of food, increase
Anything,
fiber.
anything. Yeah, to lose your weight.
Yeah, so increase fiber
Mhm.
and increase. I do 10 minutes cycling 3 days. So maybe increase it a little to 15 minutes.
Mhm. Every day.
Yeah, every day I'll try. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll try. No excuse.
Perfect, perfect. No, you know what? We have no choice, because if you think about it, that was the other thought I had when all this food was looking so. I love chocolate and I wanted to take it, and
Me too.
I was like, oh my God, no, losing weight is so much harder. And I'm looking at all these people who were like 300 pounds or whatever. I don't want to get there, because once I start gorging, then it's a slippery slope and I will not be able to recover. And I don't want to end up sick. So I'm just going to breathe in. I used to sometimes just go and look at everything, sniff it, and think about it. Oh yeah, that sounds lovely. That's great. Oh yeah, one day I will have something. And that 90 seconds, and then the thought was done. So
Hmm.
so Rizwan, what is it that you can do differently now?
Well, two things, and that is first is to be aware and what I'm eating,
Mhm.
and with the following two steps. The first is that try to get to sleep, as early as possible, not to be late, and the second thing is cut down on the sugars.
Yeah, well, fat, sugar usually comes with fat. So
Yeah.
fat is also coming in all the curries and all the meats. So if you cut down on meats, you will cut down on fat as well. And sugar, of course. Think about fat, cutting out fat. You want to lose weight, you got to cut out fat. Don't worry so much about sugar, because sugar you'll have in fruits. Eat lots of fruits, We do have the taste of sweet in our mouth, and we need to cater to that, but we need to cater to that using real foods, which is fruits. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I'll try.
Okay, well, thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much for coming, everyone, and look forward to seeing more of you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.